A nation transformed, the Iranian Revolution. The year 1979 witnessed a seismic shift in the Middle East. It was the year Iran, an ancient land with a rich history, underwent a profound transformation. This was the Iranian Revolution, a popular uprising that toppled a powerful monarch and established an Islamic Republic. The echoes of this revolution continue to reverberate today, shaping Iran's destiny and influencing global geopolitics. This revolution was not a spontaneous outburst. Decades of simmering discontent with the ruling Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, had fueled the flames of rebellion. The Shah's autocratic rule, his ambitious modernization programs, and his close ties to the West had alienated large segments of Iranian society. On the other side of this tumultuous wave of change stood Ayatollah Khomeini, a charismatic religious leader who became the symbol of resistance against the Shah's regime. Khomeini, exiled for his outspoken criticism of the Shah, skillfully channeled the people's frustrations into a powerful movement. The Iranian Revolution serves as a stark reminder of the power of popular movements. It underscores the profound impact of ideology, religion, and social discontent on political structures. Simmering discontent, socioeconomic tensions in pre-revolution Iran. Beneath the veneer of modernity that the Shah sought to project, Iranian society grappled with deep-seated socio-economic issues.
The White Revolution aimed to rapidly transform Iran into an economic powerhouse.
While it did yield some economic growth, the benefits were unevenly distributed, widening the gap between the rich and the poor.
The White Revolution, despite its name, was often implemented with a heavy hand. Land reforms, while intended to empower farmers, ended up dispossessing many and disrupting traditional agricultural practices.
Rapid industrialization led to the growth of urban slums, as rural populations migrated to cities in search of opportunities.
This period of rapid modernization also led to social and cultural dislocations. The Shah's efforts to promote Westernization clashed with the deeply conservative values of many Iranians. Traditionalists felt their way of life was under threat, further fueling resentment against the Shah's regime.
The economic disparities, social dislocations, and cultural clashes created a fertile ground for discontent. The Iranian people, especially the religious class and the poor, felt increasingly alienated from the Shah's regime, paving the way for the revolution. The Shah's iron fist policies and controversies. Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, the Shah of Iran, was a towering figure in Iranian politics. He ascended to the throne in 1941, inheriting a country grappling with poverty and foreign influence.
A staunch ally of the West, Iran was seen as a bulwark against Soviet influence.
The Shah's modernization drive was often implemented with an authoritarian hand. He sought to consolidate power, suppressing dissent and curtailing political freedoms. His secret police, Savak, became notorious for its brutality.
The Shah's close ties to the United States fueled resentment. Many Iranians viewed the Shah as a puppet of the West.
By the 1970s, the Shah's regime was sitting on a powder keg of popular discontent. Section 4. The rise of the Ayatollah, a charismatic opposition. In the heart of Qom, a charismatic figure emerged as the voice of dissent against the Shah's regime.
This was Ayatollah Khomeini, a high-ranking Shia cleric with a rare blend of religious scholarship and political acumen.
Khomeini's message was simple yet powerful. Islam offered a just and equitable alternative to the Shah's rule.
He denounced the Shah's policies, calling for a return to Islamic values and an Islamic state.
His message resonated deeply with the religious class and the poor, who suffered under the Shah's policies.
The Shah's attempts to silence Khomeini backfired. His arrest in 1963 sparked protests, forcing the Shah to release him.
Exiled to Turkey and then Iraq, Khomeini continued his campaign against the Shah.
His message reached Iran through smuggled cassette tapes and clandestine networks.
Section 5 revolution engulfed from protests to the Shah's downfall. The year 1978 marked a turning point. A seemingly minor incident, the publication of an article deemed insulting to Khomeini, ignited a firestorm of protests across Iran.
What began as localized demonstrations quickly escalated into a nationwide uprising against the Shah's rule.
The Shah's response to the protests was a mix of brutal repression and desperate concessions. He declared martial law, unleashing his security forces upon the demonstrators.
However, the brutality only served to further inflame the protesters, who drew courage from Khomeini's calls for resistance.
As the protests gained momentum, the Shah's grip on power began to slip. Strikes paralyzed the country, crippling the oil industry, the backbone of the Iranian economy.
The army, once the bedrock of the Shah's regime, began to show signs of division, with some soldiers refusing to fire on their fellow citizens.